Hi there, welcome or welcome back to our channel. In this video, we're going to cover the hot topic of phrasal verbs. Now, these verbs appear everywhere in speaking, in writing, in use of English, especially use of English part 4. And just generally, if you want to sound and write more like a native speaker, then you need to be using phrasal verbs in your everyday communication. So this video series is designed to help you to do exactly that. And in this video, we're going to do some real exam-style speaking practice to help you prepare for the interview. So that's part 1 of the speaking test. We're going to go over some real examiner questions, and then we're also going to give you some model answers so you know exactly what a grade A response should look like. So you don't want to miss any of that. So if you're preparing for the Cambridge Advanced Exam or you want to perfect your grammar before taking it, then I highly suggest you subscribe to Home Studies. When it comes to phrasal verbs with one particle, there are 3 potential categories. So in category 1 and in category 2, there has to be an object. So in category 1, the particle is inseparable, meaning it can't be separated from the verb. And in category 2, the particle is separable, which means it can be separated from the verb. In category 3, on the other hand, there is no object. So let's take a look at these categories one by one. When using phrasal verbs, the position of the object is important. So let's take a look at this example of an inseparable phrasal verb. So Ashley ran into Quinn on the street. So to run into someone is to meet them by chance. Now in this sentence, Ashley is the subject and Quinn is the object. So a phrasal verb like run into takes an object. The object in this case is Quinn. And the object has to come after the particle. So this means the phrasal verb is inseparable because the verb and the particle cannot be split up. And again, if the object is very long, then it's also going to be inseparable. So what do you think the phrasal verb in this example could be? The army's strategy is to the enemy's escape routes. Yeah, so that's right. It's to cut off the enemy's escape route. So to cut off means to block something. And here, the object, the enemy's escape routes, is, as I said, quite long, which means it needs to come after the particle. So when using phrasal verbs, the position of the object is important. In many cases, the particle can come before or after the object. Let's take a look at one example. So to throw something together is to quickly prepare or arrange something. Like, I hope the meal's okay, I just threw it together. So we can say you throw a meal together or you throw together a meal. So this verb is separable, meaning the object can come before or after the particle together. So let's look at another example. Caroline's friends rarely let her down. What do you think it means to let someone down? Yep, that's right. It's to disappoint them. So generally, this phrasal verb is separable. So you can say, I let my friend down, or I let down my friend. They're both fine, and they both work with no change in meaning. In this example, though, we're using the pronoun her. And when the object is a personal pronoun, like me, her, him, it, them, etc., then the pronoun always comes before the particle. So are you up for a phrasal verb challenge? Well, if you accept, then pause the video and look at the underlined phrasal verbs and say if they are separable or inseparable. So that means, in other words, can the object come between the verb and the particle or not? Press play when you're ready to check your answers. Number 1, the phrasal verb do without is inseparable. and it means to manage without having something that you might otherwise want or need. Number 2 is separable. You can turn down a job or you can turn a job down, and this means to refuse an offer. Number 3, look into, is again inseparable. To look into something means to investigate or examine something carefully. And number 4, put aside, is separable. So you can put money aside or put aside money. And this means to save some money for a specific purpose. How many of those did you identify correctly? In the previous 2 categories, we looked at the position of objects in relation to their verbs. In some cases, however, there is no object. Let's take a look at one example. So, Miriam's car broke down on the side of the road. So to break down is the phrasal verb, which means to stop working. And it's usually when we speak about a machine or a vehicle. Now, a phrasal verb like break down has no object. The car broke down, but it didn't break down something. So if there's no object, then we're dealing with intransitive phrasal verbs. If you find it hard to memorize these phrasal verbs, you might want to try making some memory cards. So on the one side, you can write the phrasal verb, and on the back, you could write the definition or an example. This is just one strategy for mastering phrasal verbs, and we cover a whole bunch more of them in the e-learning course for advanced. So if you'd like to know more about that, contact Home Studies or simply follow the link in the description box below. So the best way, though, to memorize phrasal verbs is to just use them as much as possible. Now, it's said that if you actively use a language item 4 times in speaking and writing, then it gets committed to your memory. So let's practice using these in the context of speaking part 1. So this is the interview in the exam. Pause the video and then answer the questions using the phrasal verb prompts in brackets. Okay, so try and upgrade your language by actively using these phrasal verbs. As a special thank you for watching this video, we've got a download pack for you to download for free with exam-style answers to those speaking questions. So you can see what kind of answers would get a grade A result in the speaking exam. You can compare your answers to those and look at ways of how to upgrade your speaking. Just click the link below. Okay, and now it's over to you for some final practice. So you've done some speaking part 1 practice for the interview. You've compared your answers to the model answers. And now take a look at a few more questions from past exams. Pause the video and try to write out answers to these questions. Try and use phrasal verbs to upgrade your answers as much as you can, and put those answers in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to have the chance to give you feedback on your answers and hopefully help you to get exam ready. Good luck. Well, that is going to do it. That is a wrap for phrasal verbs. I hope that you do feel a lot more confident now about using them in your speaking and your writing and just your everyday conversation. If you do feel like you benefited from these videos, then please go ahead and share our posts on your socials, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the other videos in our series. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope I'll be seeing you again soon.